They didn't text back and your chest feels tight. Or even worse, they texted back but only with one word like okay, or sure, or worst of all, fine, and you find yourself spiraling over it. Sound familiar? Wondering why you care so much while they pull away like it's nothing? Before you call it anxiety or attachment issues, let's look deeper. Hi, my name is Matusz Hanigiar, and this is Love Letters, from chasing to chosen. One day, I was pacing my apartment, phone in hand, rereading texts I had already read 10 times, my heart racing, mind spinning, that gut wrenching feeling of, why aren't you texting back? What did I do wrong? And that is when it hit me. I whispered to myself, I am just an anxious person. But wait, was I really anxious? Or had I just convinced myself that I was? Let's talk about 5 stages of anxious attachment and why most people get stuck long before they ever feel free. Because if you have ever felt like your heart is constantly breaking in slow motion, if you have chased people who keep pulling away or felt ashamed for wanting too much, this video is for you. Let's go back to the beginning. You are dating someone new and things feel amazing. Sparks are flying, conversations are deep, and you are already dreaming about the future together. Then suddenly, radio silence. They pull away and you start to panic. You chase, and now you are stuck in what feels like an emotional game of tag. You ask yourself, what changed? Why are they different now? That is stage one, unconscious. At this stage, you don't even know the term attachment style. You just know that love feels unpredictable. One moment it's warm and close, the next is cold and distant. You are walking on emotional eggshells, hoping they'll come back, wondering if you are too much. You haven't realized yet that this isn't just how love is, it's how your wiring is reacting to instability. Then you discover something. You hear a podcast, read a book, or maybe take an online quiz. And that is when you find it, the term anxious attachment. Finally, a name for the chaos inside. This is stage two, labeling. You feel validated. The fog starts to lift. Everything that didn't make sense now clicks into place. Your past relationships, your emotional reactions, the endless overthinking, it's all connected. You are not crazy. You are just anxious. But over time, something shifts. You start to identify with the label. You say things like, I'm just anxious, or that is my attachment style, and it becomes your personality. But here's the truth, labels can be helpful for understanding, but dangerous for identity. Because when you adopt a label as who you are, you stop looking for what you can become. In my 7 years as a hypnotherapist and coach, I've seen so many beautiful, kind, emotionally intelligent people stay stuck here. They mistake insight for healing. They mistake healing for shifting into secure. But knowing why you're anxious doesn't make you secure. Knowing isn't the same as changing. And when knowing isn't enough, frustration sets in. Now you have moved into stage 3, blaming your partner. You learn about avoidant attachment, and suddenly the person you are dating or your ex becomes the problem. If they only communicated better, if they weren't so cold, if they didn't need so much space, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. And sure, maybe they are avoidant. Maybe their withdrawal triggers you. But blaming them doesn't soothe your nervous system. You start to think, if I could just find someone who is secure, everything would be okay. But then a funny thing happens. You find someone new, and guess what? The anxiety follows you. The neediness, the fear of abandonment, the same panic when they take too long to reply. Because it's not about them. It never was. This leads to stage 4, blaming your parents. Now you're going even deeper. You start unpacking childhood memories, emotional neglect, overbearing parents, inconsistent love. You connect the dots and realize your attachment wounds didn't begin with your last relationship, they began decades ago. And for a moment, this gives you relief. Of course, you feel this way. Of course, love feels like a landmine. But here is where the trap lies. if you're not too careful, healing can become a full-time excavation. You spend years digging into your childhood trying to find the root, hoping that if you just uncover enough, you'll finally feel better. But healing isn't just knowing what happened, it's about knowing how to move forward. Digging for truth is only helpful if it leads to building a new foundation, right? Otherwise, you're just reliving the pain. So, what now? Stage 5, transcending the label. This is where everything begins to shift. You stop trying to fix the past and start building your future. You realize something profound. Secure attachment is not a personality trait, it is a skill. And just like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Insecurity isn't a life sentence, it's just imbalance. Imagine trying to walk on a shaky bridge. Every step is terrifying. But when you build stable ground beneath you, when your sense of self becomes firm and rooted, you no longer fear love, you trust it, you trust yourself. This is what I help people do. This is where we stop managing symptoms and start designing stability. And if this resonates, make sure to subscribe to this channel and share this with someone who needs to hear it, especially if you know someone who keeps blaming themselves, their partner, or their past. Sharing this could be the nudge they need to finally feel safe. And if you are ready to take the next step toward healing, transformation, and becoming secure, join Love Leaders. The link is in the description below. Because the anxious version of you, they aren't broken. They are just scared. And scared people don't need fixing. They need safety. They need new tools. They need better stories. Let go of the label. Let go of the shaky ground. You don't have to cope with anxiety forever. You can outgrow it. You can learn how to be secure. So let me ask you, what if the story that you are anxious was never true? What if you just never had the tools to feel safe in love? And what if that could change starting right now? Let me know in the comments, which stage are you in right now? Have you caught yourself clinging to a label or blaming someone else for your pain? I want to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, because you are not broken. You are just getting ready for the shift. And I'll be there with you every step of the way. Thank you very much.